When we first got together, he made me feel safe. He always said things like, "I'll never leave you," or, "You can always count on me." I believed him. I needed to believe him. After years of people walking out of my life, his words felt like home. I started letting my guard down. He became the first person I wanted to talk to in the morning, and the last one before I went to bed. He was kind, funny, charming. Everything I thought I deserved. For once, I believed I had found someone who truly saw me. In the beginning, he showed up. He remembered the small things, like how I took my coffee, or what songs made me cry. He'd surprise me at work with lunch, or leave little notes in my books. I thought, this is what love is supposed to feel like. I told my friends he was different, that he wasn't like the others. They smiled, and I smiled bigger. But slowly, things started to change. Not in an obvious way. He didn't yell or cheat. He just started showing up a little less, responding slower, forgetting the things that once mattered. I remember the first time I really needed him. I had just lost my job. I was scared and embarrassed. I called him, hoping for comfort. He didn't answer. He texted me 3 hours later. "That sucks, babe. I'm sure you'll figure it out." That was it. No call, no visit. I sat on my couch crying into a pillow, wondering if I was overreacting. Maybe he was busy. Maybe he didn't know what to say. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I always did. But something inside me felt off, like something had shifted between us. More time passed. The distance grew, even though we still talked every day. But it wasn't the same. He stopped asking how I was. If I didn't reach out first, we'd go days without speaking. And when we did talk, it was short, dry, like he was doing me a favor. Still, I clung to the good days, the memories, the promises. I told myself, this is just a phase. I thought love meant staying through the hard parts. I didn't realize I was the only one trying. He had already checked out. He just hadn't told me yet. Then came the night I really broke. My mom had a stroke. I was shaking when I called him. My voice cracked, and I needed him. I didn't want advice or money. I just wanted to hear him say, "I'm coming." He didn't pick up. I left a voicemail, crying. He texted hours later. I was sleeping. What's going on? I felt like I was sinking. This was supposed to be my person, my anchor. And in the moment I needed him the most, he wasn't there, not even close. I realized I was more alone with him than without him. Still, I didn't walk away. I told myself he would do better next time, that he just didn't understand how serious it was. I kept making excuses for him. I carried the relationship on my back, pretending everything was fine. But inside, I was tired. Tired of hoping. Tired of waiting. Tired of being second to everything. His job, his friends, even his sleep. Love isn't supposed to feel like begging. And yet, I was always the one reaching, pulling, trying. He promised he'd always be there. But I started wondering if he ever meant it, or if he just liked how it sounded. One afternoon, I asked him to meet me for coffee. I had something to say. I wanted to tell him how I felt, how I was hurting. He showed up 30 minutes late, barely, said sorry, and scrolled through his phone while I talked. I asked, "Do you even care that I'm not okay?" He looked at me like I was overreacting. "You're too sensitive," he said. That stung. I wasn't asking for the world. I just wanted to feel loved, seen. I left the cafe with tears in my eyes. That day, I stopped asking for what I needed. I started pulling away quietly. I stopped texting first. I didn't tell him when I had a rough day. I kept my pain to myself. And you know what? He didn't notice. Not once did he ask, "Is everything okay?" He was fine with the silence, the distance. That hurt more than anything. I realized I wasn't losing him. I had already lost him. He just hadn't left. He was there in name, in messages, in old photos. But not really. Not when it mattered. Not in the way someone who truly loves you is supposed to be. I remember sitting alone on my birthday. He said he had something important come up and couldn't make it. He didn't even send a card. That night I looked at the cake I bought myself and blew out the candle in silence. I didn't even wish for anything. I just wanted to stop feeling so small, so forgotten. That's when it clicked. He was never going to be who I needed him to be. Not because I asked for too much, but because he didn't want to give even a little. I was done pretending it didn't matter. I started thinking about the girl I used to be before him. I laughed more. I had hobbies, dreams, peace. But somewhere along the way, I started shrinking. I became someone who waited by the phone, who held her breath hoping to be chosen. I lost myself trying to hold on to someone who never truly held me. And it wasn't just about missing events. It was about missing me, ignoring my heart, my words, my needs. I didn't want that kind of love anymore. I didn't want to beg for someone to stay. I wanted to feel whole again. So one day, I packed up a small bag and went away for the weekend. I didn't tell him. I turned off my phone. I sat by the ocean, listened to the waves, and for the first time in a long time, I breathed. I didn't cry. I didn't chase. I just sat with myself, letting the silence hold me instead of hurt me. I wrote in a notebook, "I deserve more," and I meant it. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even sad. I was just done. Done hoping, done holding on, done pretending he would show up. When I got back, he hadn't noticed I was gone. Not even a, "Where are you?" Just a meme he forwarded like nothing was wrong. That told me everything. He had never really seen me, not the way someone in love does. I was just a background character in his story, a steady presence he never had to work for. And that's not love. That's comfort, habit, laziness. I sat on my bed, rereading his message, and I didn't feel a thing. No anger, no pain, just silence. And that silence was louder than anything he had ever said. I sent him one final message. It was short. "This isn't working for me anymore. Please don't contact me." I blocked his number. I deleted our photos. Not out of spite, but because I had to choose myself. I cried that night. Not because I missed him, but because I missed the idea of him. The version I created in my head. The one who'd be there when it counted. But he never showed up. Not when I lost my job, or when my mom had a stroke, or when I sat alone on my birthday. He never came. Weeks passed. At first, the quiet felt strange. I kept reaching for my phone out of habit, but over time the silence started to feel safe, peaceful. I went for walks. I read books. I smiled more. I started talking to friends again, laughing again. I remembered how to be by myself without feeling lonely. I started healing, slowly, gently. With every passing day, I became more of myself again. The version he promised to love but never really knew. I was rebuilding, not to prove anything to him, but to honor everything I had lost trying to keep him. One day, I got a message from an unknown number. It was him. "I miss you," he wrote. "Can we talk?" For a second, I froze. But then I smiled. Not because I wanted him back, but because I didn't. He had missed every moment that mattered, and now he missed me. But I was no longer the girl waiting for his love. I was the woman who chose her own peace. I didn't respond. I just deleted the message. Not out of hate, but out of growth. Because sometimes, love isn't about who stays, it's about who shows up. Looking back now, I don't regret loving him. I regret believing his words more than I believed my own feelings. He promised he'd always be there, but promises don't mean anything without action. What matters is showing up, in the hard times, in the quiet moments, in the real life in between. He missed those, all of them. But I didn't miss the lesson. I learned that I deserve a love that stays, listens, cares. And until I find that, I'm happy walking this road alone. Because I'd rather walk alone than spend another moment with someone who never truly saw me.